a good tevach. In the segments of this week's Daily Halacha, we will discuss the halachas, the laws, details, and drashas and agadatas involved in the story of Chanukah and the laws of Chanukah. The date of Chanukah, as we know, is on Chof Hei Kislev. That's when the 8 days of Chanukah begin. It commemorates the miracles that occurred during the reign of the Syrian Empire, the Greek Syrian Empire, in the times of the Second Temple. As it's brought in the Rambam, based on the Gemara and Shabbos, the Syrian Greeks made decrees against the Jews, preventing them from following the Torah and mitzvahs. There's a machlekes amongst Rishonim regarding if the Syrian Greeks forbade all Torah and mitzvahs. It was a gzeira shmat that prohibited all performance of Torah and mitzvahs, or it was only against specific Torah and mitzvahs, as is recorded in some sources, that they only decreed against bris milah, Reish Chodesh, and learning Torah, and against Shabbos. Others, however, record that they decreed against everything. What did they do to us? They oppressed us. As the Rambam writes, they took our money and our daughters. They entered the Heichel and brought in items of idolatry. And Hashem had mercy and caused a great victory of Ma'atim, of a small amount of people versus Merubim versus a great amount of people. The details of the story of Chanukah are delineated in the Sefer Josephus, which is recorded in Paiskim as having a very good moral influence in reading it, and it's actually encouraged to be read. When did the Hashmonaim finally defeat the Yevanim? So this is a machlekes in Rishonim. Many Rishonim rule that the war that was won by the Hashmonaim took place, meaning the final victory took place on 24th of Kislev. And that the menorah was lit on the night of the 25th, and then against the next day, on the day of the 25th. As the menorah was always lit by night and by day. However, according to the Rambam in Hilchos Chanukah, the war was only won in the midst of the 25th, and thus the first lighting was done on the afternoon of Chof Hei, which was on the eve of the 26th of Kislev. Nevertheless, according to all opinions, the actual celebration of the holiday begins on Chof Hei. And we all know that the reason that the Chachamim established to celebrate Chanukah for 8 days is because that the oil lasted for 8 days. There was an 8-day miracle. In truth, obviously, this is not the only miracle that we are celebrating, but the general miracle of the Ma'atim, the Chashmonaim, over the Merubim, over the Goyim, that itself was the greatest miracle that we're celebrating, in the fact that we were able to win and be victorious in this war. We will discuss now a classic question asked in the Mefarshim, regarding why do we celebrate Chanukah for 8 days if there was enough oil to last 1 day? So seemingly, the miracle was only for 7 days. So we should only celebrate Chanukah for 7 days and not 8. So this question has various answers, and we will go into some of them. One of the answers is that, as we said before, that the first day that we're celebrating is the victory. But that would only go according to the Rishonim that hold that the victory took place on Chof Hei. Because if it took place on Chof Daled, then we should be celebrating Chanukah starting from Chof Daled. The Beis Yosef, in his Pirush on the Torah, deals with this question. And he says that they had found one small flask of oil, which was enough for 1 day, and therefore they split it for 8 days. And it was only supposed to last for a minute amount of time each day, and instead it lasted the entire day each day. So every single day's allocated amount of oil had a miracle. This is the first answer of the Beis Yosef. Another answer recorded in the Taz is that they put all the oil in the first day. But nevertheless, not all the oil was consumed and some was left over. And that oil that was left over was used for all the subsequent days' lighting. And the fact that then the first day didn't all consume itself is a miracle. Others explain that they put all the oil in the first day, and only 1/8 of the oil was consumed each day. Others say that miraculously the jar refilled with oil after having emptied it, so already in the first day when they emptied it, the jar had refilled. This is the second answer of the Beis Yosef. The third answer of the Beis Yosef is that the oil of the candles simply did not consume. They remained there their entire time. And this is a chiddush of the Rebbe in the Kutei Sichos, Chelik Tezvav, that the Rebbe explains that this means that the oil was consumed and wasn't consumed at the same time. Similar to the miracle of the temple at the Aron that took up space, did not take up any actual space in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Others explain that the mere finding of the jar of oil on the 25th is a miracle. Others say, so is burned the Rekeach, that it is compared to the holiday of Sukkot that has 8 days, and therefore the Chachamim established that also Chanukah have 8 days. This is a general summary of the different opinions regarding this question. Regarding why the candles lasted, why the candles had to last for 8 days, meaning why Hashem had to make a miracle for 8 days, why couldn't they get oil earlier? So the Rekeach explains that it took them 4 days to travel to the olive orchard and 4 days to travel back. Others have explained, so is the explanation of the Beis Yosef, that the Jewish people were ritually impure to the contact with the dead during the wars, and therefore they had to purify themselves and wait 7 days before becoming pure for a total of 8 days, as it took them 1 day to make the oil, and that's why they needed the oil that they found to last 8 days.